It's your Uncle Ethan.
One of the greatest characters in Western movie history. You know what they say, location, location, location. Monument Valley is one of the greatest characters in Western movie history. The best and most memorable Westerns of all time were seen that way, in no small way, by the environment the story was set in. The unsung hero that never won an award. Today we are looking at Monument Valley, one of the most recognizable locations ever. If you like this video, take a look at my channel for many more. The link is in the description. Like, share and subscribe. You know the drill. Let's get into it. Monument Valley, Valley of the Rocks, is a region of the Colorado Plateau, characterized by a cluster of sandstone buttes, with the largest reaching 1,000 foot, 300 meters, above the valley floor. The most famous butte formations are located in northeastern Arizona along the Utah-Arizona state line, considered sacred by the Navajo Nation, the Native American people within those reservations it lies. Monument Valley has been featured in many forms of media since the 1930s. Film critic Keith Phipps wrote that it's 5 square miles, 13 square kilometers, that define what decades of moviegoers think of when they imagine the American West. The man likely responsible for making Monument Valley as important as it is was John Ford. First, with Stagecoach, 1939. A stagecoach trip is threatened by the fact that Geronimo is on the warpath in the area. The passengers on the coach include a drunken doctor, 2 women, a bank manager who has taken off with his client's money, and the famous Ringo Kid, among others. The unmistakable topography was that of Monument Valley's Colorado Plateau location. My Darling Clementine, 1946, a western directed by John Ford and starring Henry Fonda as Wyatt Earp during the period leading up to the gunfight at the OK Corral. The ensemble cast also features Victor Mature as Doc Holliday, Linda Darnell, Walter Brennan, Tim Holt, Kathy Downs, and Ward Bond. Much of the film was shot in Monument Valley, the scenic desert region straddling the Arizona-Utah border, used in other John Ford movies.
Ma'am, I sure like that name. Clementine.
Fort Apache, 1948. A western directed by John Ford and starring John Wayne and Henry Fonda. The film was the first of the director's Cavalry trilogy, inspired by James Warner Beller's short story Massacre, 1947. The historical sources for Massacre have been attributed both to George Armstrong Custer and the Battle of Little Bighorn, and to the Fetterman Fight. Some exteriors for the film's location shooting were shot in Monument Valley, Arizona.
Your guns, man. Stand by your guns. Flaherty, you're in charge. I'll be back. No questions.
She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, 1949, a western directed by John Ford, starring John Wayne, the second film in Ford's Cavalry trilogy. With a budget of $1.6 million, one of the most expensive westerns made up to that time. A major hit, the film is named after She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, a song popular with the US military. Shot on location in Monument Valley, utilizing large areas of the Navajo Reservation along the Arizona-Utah state border. Ford and cinematographer Winton C. Hock based much of the film's imagery on the paintings and sculptures of Frederick Remington. Hock won the Academy Award for Best Cinematography, Color, in 1950.
So Nathan Brittles, ex-captain of cavalry, USA, started westward for the new settlements in California. Westward toward the setting sun, which is the end of the trail for all old men. But the Army hadn't finished with Nathan Brittles, and had sent a galloper after him. That was Sergeant Tyree's department.
The Searchers, 1956, a western directed by John Ford, written by Frank S. Nugent, based on the 1954 novel by Alan LeMay, set during the Texas Indian Wars, and stars John Wayne as a middle-aged Civil War veteran who spends years looking for his abducted niece, Natalie Wood, accompanied by his adopted nephew, Jeffrey Hunter. While the film was primarily set in the Staked Plains, Llano Estacado, of northwestern Texas, it was actually filmed in Monument Valley, Arizona, Utah.
Jorgensen! Why don't you finish the job?
Sergeant Rutledge, 1960, a western directed by John Ford and starring Jeffrey Hunter, Constance Towers, Woody Strode, and Billy Burke. The title was also used for the novelization published in the same year. 6 decades later, the film continues to attract attention because it was one of the first mainstream films in the US to treat racism frankly and to give a starring role to an African American actor. In 2017, film critic Richard Brody observed that the greatest American political filmmaker, John Ford, relentlessly dramatized in his westerns the mental and historical distortions arising from the country's violent origins, including its legacy of racism, which he confronted throughout his career, nowhere more radically than in Sergeant Rutledge. Parts of the film were shot in Monument Valley and the San Juan River, at Mexican Hat in Utah. Cheyenne Autumn, 1964, a western starring Richard Widmark, Carol Baker, James Stewart, and Edward G. Robinson, tells the story of a factual event, the Northern Cheyenne Exodus of 1878 to 79, told with artistic license. The film was the last western directed by John Ford, who proclaimed it an elegy for the Native Americans who had been abused by the US government and misrepresented in numerous of his own films. With a budget of more than $4 million, the film was relatively unsuccessful at the box office and failed to earn a profit for Warner Brothers. Much of the film was shot in Monument Valley, Tribal Park, on the Arizona-Utah border. Ford used numerous members of the Navajo tribe in this production. Many others would go on to use Monument Valley as a backdrop, not only in westerns, but other genres as well.
Get the guns out! All right, the wagon, sir! Get the guns! Move! Yes, sir!
I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.